Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a posing video. Alright, guys, I'm a singer, dancer, songwriter, vlogger, motivational motivational speaker, giving diet and exercising tips for free. I do a ton of stuff, guys, and I've got 25,000 videos, so please explore. Have a look around. I do want to get back to doing the covers. I'm just in a room right now that's close to where my neighbors are, and I can't sing near them. But when I'm back in the other part of the studio, I will be able to sing again. All right? Now, guys, what do you think of the look? Isn't this glamorous? Now, just a comment. I'm not going to judge in this regard because I don't think judging is very fair. But I saw this one girl's channel, and I know she's catering to a certain audience or whatever. Or maybe she does believe she's doing all these things, but she was like talking about fitness and talking about how she did fitness and how she was trying to guide people to learn how to be better in better shape and to do what you do for a New Year's resolution. And like, I mean, she's in okay shape. She wasn't that bad. I wouldn't judge her for it. But I mean, like when you see the video, you're like, okay, you're not like I know she probably doesn't even work out in the gym. Um, she didn't look like she was very fit, and I'm like, well, it's fine if you want to look like that. You don't have to be working out if you don't want to, or you don't have to be like in the gym 24/7 if you want to just do a small workout, or you feel you did work out a lot, but you just don't say anything because you're not working out as much as some people that are really professional. So I'm like, holy, like she wasn't nearly as good as. I'm like super good with the way I talk about fitness. It's just giving tips, right? But I mean, when people see me, I think they can kind of get the sense that I'm like really, really fit. I could probably win like a bodybuilding competition as Marco and a fitness competition as Melina. I'm like super fit, but I don't really like when she was talking about it. I was like, holy, she's making it sound like she's in the gym 24/7 and doing all this stuff, and I'm like, well, I do like way. I'm sure I do way more. Like she did not look fit at all. Not that I'm judging her. I would never judge anyone for that. And if you are exercising at the gym at all, good for you. You shouldn't feel bad about it. But I'm like, holy, like, I'm like so much more fit than she is, and I'm like, why is she talking about it like she does it all the time? And she looks like she probably doesn't even go to the gym. I'm like, okay, um, but like I said, I don't judge. I don't think it's right to judge her, but I mean, she does have a YouTube video on it, so you're gonna call her up on it and say, look, I would never tell her. I don't insult her directly on her page or anything like that. But I'm like, okay, if you just had your eyes closed and you heard me talking about fitness, and then you had your eyes closed and you heard her talking about fitness, you would think she's like Iron Woman and Supergirl, and with me, you'd be like, oh, they're just giving some tips. Do they even know about it? But when you actually see both of us actually like in the video, you're like, holy, this Melina girl is like so fit. Because I don't talk. I'm kind of like a very watered down person. I don't really talk about certain things that much. I don't really say, I'm the master, I'm this, that, even though I'm very, 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 very good at things. I just don't make it sound like that because I don't think it's fair to make it sound like you're the bee's knees. And this girl was like looking at this girl, you'd be like, if you didn't see her, you'd be thinking she's got to be like a fitness trainer. She's got to be like in the gym 24/7 because of the way she's talking about it. And I'm like, no, she doesn't even look fit at all. I just thought it was kind of like, and her fan base is going to be judging her, and they're going to be like, yeah, I go to the gym too. That's awesome. You're right, girl. And they're not gonna be like, oh, you can't talk about fitness. And some people would, and that's not right. You should not criticize someone that's talking about fitness that way, regardless of what they look. They could be 1,000 pounds if they want to talk about fitness that way. They can talk about fitness that way. But I'm just like, okay, girl. Like I'm so much healthier and so much fitter. Um, and like my look is very difficult to get. Like this is not easy. A lot of people get surgery to get this look, and I don't even need surgery, and I've already got it. So I'm very, very lucky. But I'm like, I just thought it was kind of cute. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's like talking about it like she's the master, and I'm like, I'm sure she doesn't even have an education with it. She doesn't look like she knows fitness at all. But I'm like, I'm like, good for her. She's brave enough to talk about it. And who knows? Maybe she's fit now. I haven't seen her in a long time. Maybe she lost weight. Maybe she got criticized and she's like, you know what, you're right, I should do something in the gym. But like I said, I don't, that's the thing, right, guys? I may say in my videos, I'm better than this person looks wise, or I work harder, or this and that, but I'm not trying to sway you against that person or make you feel like that person sucks. I'm trying to make you realize that I'm good when I talk like that, right? Like, I don't want you to think that I'm just trash talking people left, right, and center. I don't like to do that. And when I talk about it, I don't like to make it seem like I'm doing that, because really, all in all, everyone deserves a right to what the freedom of speech. Everyone deserves a right to be who they are. Everyone deserves a right to feel like they're glamorous and gorgeous. So I'm not going to judge anyone ever. But when you're putting up a video about fitness and you don't know about fitness, and I mean, she had a decent number of fans. I don't remember how. Don't remember the channel. I don't remember how many subscribers she had, but I'm like, good for you, girl. I mean, you're making it sound like you're really fit. Awesome. People should be like that. You should, but I'm like, obviously I'm way fitter, and I don't make it sound like I'm that fit when I talk about it. But people should talk like that, right? Like we should all feel like we are an expert, and they do talk. I did see a TikTok video, and they do talk about how how do you just how do you feel like an expert? You just make yourself an expert right away. They said you just have to give yourself the ability to say you're an expert, and then you are an expert. So even though this girl wasn't an expert at all, maybe she is now. I don't. Maybe she was working a lot at the time, and it just didn't show yet because she just started. I don't know, but she didn't seem like an expert to me. But she's taking the video that the person said to make yourself an expert. Just assume you're an expert. Give yourself that entitlement. Give yourself that title, and then voila, you are right. So I'm like, good on you, girl. A lot of people would not talk about it like that, but she, and I don't know what her fitness level is like now. I didn't pay attention to what the channel was called, but I mean, I'm like, she's making pretty bold statements, and she's making it sound like she's in the gym 24/7. I'm like, she's not. But it was cute though. You're just like, oh my goodness, that's so cute. You think you're really in good shape, and I mean, she wasn't like that bad, but I'm like, in order to talk about it like she was, you have to be in the gym like, all the time. And even like someone like Sam Asghari, who's Britney Spears' boyfriend, he doesn't really, he's a fitness person. He's very, very fit. He doesn't really talk about how he's like a fit person. He doesn't really say that. He doesn't really make it sound like he's the bee's knees. He doesn't go on and on about what he does in the gym. You can just tell he's extremely, extremely fit, but he doesn't say, I exercise all the time. I'm a master at this. I'm this and that. A lot of people would sway from making it sound like they're an expert when they might be an expert, or vice versa. Maybe they're not an expert, and they would sway from making it sound like they are an expert. But I'm like, it was cute though. This girl was like, I was like, if I talk like that, maybe I'd be really confident with it and be like, feel like the bee's knees, because I mean, she was going on like she was like a big star, and I'm like, that's cool. We need people like that. We need people to be like, I'm good, even though they might not be as good as they say. Because and that's what I always try to tell people too. I want people to know that even if you aren't, at your level of fitness, or you aren't where you're supposed to be, where you think you're supposed to be, or you don't feel you're good at something, you don't feel you're allowed to wear a certain look, you should be allowed to do whatever you want, right? That's what I liked about this girl. You know, she felt like she could do whatever she wanted. She really felt like she was an expert, and who could take that away from her? I wouldn't want to take that away from her. I was happy with her. I was like, that's cute. She really feels like she's an expert. So I'm like, that's good. All right, guys. So that's my little rant. But you know, like I said, good for her. You know, she doesn't have her lack of working out be something that's gonna tone her down. She's gonna talk about it like she's a fitness guru, and that's cool. You know, and we can all learn something from someone like that, right? Like maybe she's not an expert, but if she feels like she is, good for her. All right, guys, click that subscribe. Bye now.